we'll have Marius back on stage to share with you basically on the trade-offs and how to build a sustainable business, especially from the local market perspective. And in a few seconds he'll hopefully have his presentation back. So
for that, I think I need you, and thank you for it.
Okay, good. But I'm sure Marius is such an experienced speaker that he can do without a presentation, right?
No, actually I have a lot of emotions.
Oh. Yeah, the standard was set pretty high by the other speakers, so I can totally understand that. Okay, good. Then, off we go. Thank you very much.
Hello everybody. I think we've met before. I was in the panel. Does everyone hears me? Everything's set up. Okay. I'm Marius. I started a business a few years ago, around 4. I basically started as an outsourcing company and a service providing company to AOL, but meanwhile I was very encouraged to go into a startup direction. So actually I was contacted by some big investors and also the co-founders of Visually. And Visually is a data visualization company from San Francisco that I started to work with as a side project. But this is basically what I will talk in this presentation, and mostly about sustainable business model by highlighting trade-offs and team constraints. I'm not here to teach how to build a business model, but mainly how to actually make sure that it's sustainable from one very important aspect. So basically the way I see it is like everybody is like in an entrepreneurial rush. And what this actually means is that a young entrepreneur has an amazing idea, and I think in the room everyone has like an amazing idea. Am I correct? Everyone wants to succeed. Everyone wants to create a product and actually to roll it out. So the way I see it is like you have an idea, and then eventually you share it with your friends, and you go to Startup Weekend. And by the way, I want to congratulate the winners from Muresh last weekend. Yeah, they're there. And then you develop it, and you eventually get some investment. You grow a team, and then eventually you hire me as a CTO. I'm not looking for a job, but still I might be in the future. I'm not saying no. And then you start to scale the business. And suddenly a lot of investors are coming to you and are asking, is it your business, or is like the ones from the board, from the director's board are asking you, is your business actually sustainable? And you need to answer this question by not knowing exactly what sustainability is. And this is actually what I want to present you today. It's like what means for a business to be sustainable. And I think the young entrepreneur should understand that sustainability is around like 2 main, let's say, questions. It's like to understand very well what do we sell and how we optimize our selling, and how do we run the business by having a sustainable organization. Now, my expertise is not like coming to you and say how to sell, because I don't know how to sell. I don't know how to do marketing. I started as a tech guy, so it's just like I'm still a geek, I'm still coding. But what I can do is just like highlight some aspects regarding how to run a sustainable organization. Because from my perspective, having a very strong team that is really motivated and is actually embracing the vision of your business is one of the key points in growing your business and having it as a very stable business. Now, I was talking about the vision, and I think there were some presentations here that, the word vision was like actually brought in front for a few times. Now, usually the vision of your business is like telling everything about it. It's like telling who is working in your company, what are your products all about. It's like how do you sell, where are you selling to, and who is working in your company. So I just like took 3 of the visions that I found over the internet. 2 of them I know, so it's AOL, which is one of our partners, and Visually, which is like Visually Romania, that is actually developing all the products in Romania. And I see here like original visual content for brands, which is from Visually, then to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world, and to inform, entertain, and connect the world. These are 3 visions, company visions, business strategical visions. Now, Let's take the first one as an example, like original visual content for brands. Obviously that visually is creating visualizations, visual content, but who is actually selling to? It's like selling to brands. So obviously that we are in a B2B model, we are not B2C. Then we can talk about Nike, to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. So what this actually means, it's like inspiration and innovation. Who is working with this company? Like very good designers, the one that can always innovate. And this is like a key point for successful business, is to always try to innovate and give enough time for people, for your team members to innovate. And then who is selling? Who is selling to? Nike is selling obviously to sport people. It's like every athlete in the world. So this is the vision, and if the team members are understanding this vision, then they can perform in a very performant way. And then it's to inform, entertain, and connect the world. It's obviously an advertising network, a news agency that is like creating a lot of content and distributing it over the internet. Now, the young entrepreneur actually is getting some investments, and then he's creating this business, and then he sees that there are some trade-offs that he needs to understand how to manage in order to grow a sustainable business. But what is actually a trade-off? A trade-off is you say that you actually do a trade-off whenever you cut some of the also part of your business in order to gain on another, even on a short run or on a long run, but actually you are aiming the success. But this can create a lot of frustrations. And there should be a very good balance between accepting and rejecting trade-offs. And a very good thing would be to try to understand what the trade-off means, both for your customers and for your employees. Because usually accepting the trade-off means to put more tension into your team, and what you need to do is to understand how this will affect your company on a long run. So a very simple way to evaluate this, and you need to evaluate this, is by taking all the pros and cons, put them on a piece of paper, and try to analyze out of them. But you might be very subjective into your decision, like business decision. So there might be a good option to try to involve all your team members, like the ones there, and try to give them the importance of trying to be part of the decision that you are taking. But this is like coming with a different trade-off that you need to take in consideration as a manager, because you might face two sides of your company, that the ones that are actually supporting your decisions and the ones that aren't. So you need to evaluate very good the support that you don't need anymore after you are taking this business decision. And then we can talk about rejecting trade-offs. This is actually another aspect that is involving a lot of tension in teams, but if you are capable of like holding the tension of higher and actually encourage higher expectations, this is like a very good place where the innovation starts. And innovation is really important in a company. As I said, in big corporation, you have a very defined role that you are working in, right? You are a project manager, or you're a product guy, or a developer, whatever, but you don't have enough room to innovate. So Google is actually solving this problem by offering like 50% out of the time of one employee to work on a side project of their own choice. So this is only because they want to innovate. They want to have the entrepreneurial spirit inside the company. So 3 key points that are leading to innovation. So one of it is time. And when I'm talking about time, it's like the business leader should defend the time and give enough time or offer enough time to the team to take the right decisions. So in this way, they will actually be able to innovate. Then creating the tools. This is something that usually the customers are not seeing it, but it's really time consuming to define the right processes in your team and provide them the right tools to perform in a very optimized way. Usually the customers are coming, hey, I need to buy this, and I need to have this really fast, but they don't see exactly how much time you spend in like developing all the processes, but the processes are really important to keep the team sustainable. And then it's like the ability to take risks and break rules. Permission, actually. To give permission to a person, to give it to offer enough time to fail, this is a very important aspect, because it was mentioned even before, I think Marius mentioned, that it's very important to learn how to fail. And if you offer enough time to fail, then you will fail once, you will fail twice, and then you will just evolve, and maybe you will do a switch in the direction of your company, like a strategical business decision, like way up front, whenever you will have like a big team and it will be very hard to fail. So in order to succeed, actually, you need to succeed quickly by failing fast. So accepting these trade-offs will teach you how to fail very fast and also how to change this direction into the right direction. So basically these are like theoretical stuff. Obviously that usually this doesn't happen, or it happens like a lot in the companies, and I feel a lot of developers here felt the frustration of like managers pushing pressure over them, like swearing in the coffee breaks regarding the management, like they're asking me to do this in 1 week and it's actually impossible. But from the impossible, the innovation comes, is created, and actually the impossible triggers innovation. Now, as I've been telling you, it's just like I started everything by, running an outsourcing company, but I saw like great presentations here that are coming from personal experiences, like pretty funny, the one with the camel. By the way, I have a friend here in the room that it happened the same. We were like traveling together in Dubai, it's happening right now, and he was just like trying to get to a camel that was like, and it wasn't moving, you know. So actually, we can create an app that will make the camel to move, you know. So basically, from my experience, I was the first developer in Visually, and this, like, the co-founders contacted me. I took this as a side project, even though I was having a company that was already running, and we were like offering good services to AOL, which is like a big corporation. So I decided to go into this like startup environment and try to create something cool. So I was working over the clock, and I was working from home. And regarding the funny stories, I didn't want to start with this, but I was working while my girlfriend was pregnant. My kid was like almost birth, so she was like almost giving birth. It was like huge releases, big press release, and one of the biggest mistakes there was like underestimate the press releases. And actually we got to the TechCrunch, and in the day that we released, we were down for like 5 hours, and TechCrunch was like getting crazy about it because they wrote an article about us. So basically the way we started Visually was like a pure B2C model, and we wanted to create the biggest distribution platform for infographics and to have like the next YouTube and create visual content. So we created the community. We created first the distribution platform. We created the community. We created the community features. Then we started to monetize into B2C model. But for us, at least, I'm not saying this is not a valid model, but for us it was a failure, complete failure. And that's what I wanted to say, is that you need to understand how to fail fast and switch the direction of your company. And this is what we did. We failed, and we changed entirely the business strategy. And obviously that this was coming with like huge trade-offs and big challenges. So we created a marketplace, and we started to sell to businesses. And this is actually the moment that everything changed in Visually, in terms of how we were creating products, in how we were like, what were the team members that we were actually trying to get on board, and so on. And then we scaled the organization departments, and then we started to differentiate from the competitors. And actually we were going like full B2B. So this is coming with the trade-offs that I would like to emphasize a bit today about going all over them, both on why we were on B2C and on B2B. So being a B2C startup, we're running in a very competitive market, and it's very important to understand the market. So what happens when there are a lot of competitors, you want to move fast, you are a startup, it's like you need to have fast development, fast delivery, and fast adaptation. And this comes with like huge frustrations. From a tech standpoint, fast development means mainly build something on top of something that already exists. I don't know, big Drupal, WordPress. I'm not saying I hope there are like Drupal developers here that will serve me. But this is actually coming with a very huge trade-off whenever you scale, because you will see that implementing all the features and put, actually these platforms were having, for us at least, a lot of limitations. So actually we were having lower product quality because we always wanted to adapt really fast. So the CEO was coming, there was like a huge opportunity, let's buy the time and just like develop everything in 1 week, and we were always agreeing with that, and we were like doing direction switching in like a matter of a week, and this was actually lowering our product quality. So because we were always like listening to our customers' signals, so it's just like moving really fast, we were having like smaller development cycles, we were using a waterfall approach, everything that was coming in was just like shipped out. And then involvement and availability was like pretty an important key, because all of our team members needed to be really involved, and they were actually needed to embrace the entire company vision and have a very big availability, because we were working with a US market that was actually having a problem of working in a remote environment, and we were having in San Francisco like 10 hours difference. So it happened for me lots of time to just answer calls during the night. And then I call this an opportunistic approach. It's like, take all the opportunity, put it on the table of your developers and on your team, and let's ship it out, because this will actually change the direction, and we will succeed as a company if we take all the opportunities from all the customers. So from my experience and the way we felt, it was like, we lost the motivation, we were having less and less innovation in the team, and creativity was like completely broken because we were very agile, and the overall thinking was like, the team was getting burned. Whenever we went to the B2B model, actually everything changed, and from my end, I can say that it's a very stable system, a system that a company that is oriented to product quality, and we implemented longer development cycles. We were spending a lot of time in defining new processes. We weren't using waterfall anymore, and by the way, we took all your advices in consideration, Simon, since all that stuff. So we are now we're not hiring project manager anymore. We are hiring only Scrum Masters. We are trying to be Scrum by the book, but we aren't. But in any case, this is a huge trade-off. Whenever you change the strategy and the business model that you have, especially when you have a team, the velocity will go down. Whenever we transition from B2C to B2B, this is what we experienced. Like, there was a very big tension between the business leader and the CEO, and me especially, that I was always asked to offer the same velocity as we were having in the B2C model, but actually now we needed to spend more time on quality, we needed to deliver slower in order to make sure that the failure risk is minimum, and so on. So that's a huge trade-off that a young entrepreneur that is like switching a direction should take into consideration, because this might affect the entire team structure. And then even the product user experience was like actually affected, because we needed to provide driven usability that will actually lead to sales. Because a sustainable business is actually a business that can react, that can sell, that can drive good selling and marketing, even though there are like problems in the environment that the business is running. For example, if there's like a huge crisis, you still need to actually sell. So that's a sustainable business. So you need a sustainable product, you need a sustainable team. And we changed whenever we went to B2B, we changed everything. We created new landing pages, we made sure that we are creating more sales out of understanding and run a lot of usability tests and so on, and even hire better professionals. And this is actually a very good trade-off, because all the costs were getting higher. And this is where I needed to optimize, and I found it like really, really hard, especially in our local environment in Cluj, because it's not a person that is working in a startup and is going to sell and to create products that are sold directly to businesses is not mandatory to succeed. We needed persons that were having experience to work into this model. So everything went up. So switching from a B2C to a B2B transition, I think it's a very important strategical decision that will affect everything. And the main thing would be that the business leaders should transfer the vision of the company and make the team members understand exactly that they are part, that business is part of their life, and also to try to tie up the personal objective with the business objectives. If this will be tied up, then you most probably will run a sustainable organization, and most probably this is the first step of having a sustainable business. So basically, this is the message I was trying to give you today, is that a sustainable organization can be the foundation of a sustainable business model. I'm not talking about sales, I don't know how to do sales, so if anyone can help me with that, I would be more than happy. Thank you very much.
I think we have time for 1 or 2 questions. So are there any questions from the audience for Marius? Or any volunteers who want to take a sales position?
Please, the ones from behind. Georgie.
Okay. There's pointing somebody at somebody who should have a question. Was that supposed to be? Oh no, there is actually a question, sorry.
I think it's just technicality. You said a couple of times that you're changing from agile waterfall to Scrum, but as far as I remember, waterfall wasn't necessarily agile.
Well,
quite the opposite.
maybe I just maybe it was a misunderstanding. We're like, whenever I say like waterfall is like everything that's coming in was like shipped out, and we were like working. When I said we were working agile, I actually meant that we were like moving very fast, and we weren't spending a lot of time in planning, and the role distribution were all merged. I mean, a backend developer was like doing front end, and that was a problem.
Okay,
you know?
so that's the confusion, yes.
Yes, so there was a confusion.
Great presentation, great visuals. I'm blown away by your visuals. I'm very jealous. So just a quick comment.
Metronic team, like
Yeah. Which team?
Metronic.
Write that down. Just you mentioned you started talking about pivoting. There's a book called Getting to Plan B by a guy named Randy Commissar, who's a senior partner at Kleiner Perkins in Silicon Valley. This is like the Bible on figuring out whether you should pivot or shut yourself down. And if any of you are out there thinking about that, that's the book, Getting to Plan B.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, thank you very much.